All right. I don't usually do these type of videos, but it's been on my mind, so I just want to talk about it right now before I forget about it. Yeah, Spider-Man No Way Home. It kind of pissed me off, not gonna lie. Not the entire movie, a good portion of it though pissed me off. And I think it's a great movie. It's a really good movie. I think it's one of the more memorable ones of the MCU movies. But it's just a glaring issue with it. But I'm just start off with how they continued the trilogy or Peter's story. There's no real way of when a superhero's identity gets revealed, or there's no actual real world example for it. There's been some ways in the comics, and there's been some other sources of media that gone about it, but how they go about it in this movie, I think they did pretty well. Not even gonna lie. And I don't really blame Peter for actually going to Strange for trying to get that identity reveal like reversed. I don't blame him. I would do it too if I was in that position. But the main thing that just pissed me off is that Strange said multiple times, is like, you can't reverse this. Make sure you know what you're doing. And like the first thing Peter did, he was just second guessing himself. No, wait, I want my identity to be reversed, or I want the identity being revealed reversed. But I want X amount of people to know I want this person. No, wait, I want this person. Oh, wait, I also want this person to know that I'm still Spider-Man because I don't want to reveal that to them again. So that just caused a whole bunch of problems for Strange because he had to redo the curse over and over and over again, even though he told Peter, I can't do this over and over and over again because it'll mess it up. So having Peter change his mind multiple times and having Strange repeat the spell multiple times caused a mishap, which was going to happen. Strange said that was going to happen. And look out, it did. You got Green Goblin, you got Doc Ock, you got Killer Croc. That's not his name. I forget his name though. But Kurt Connors, Crocodile Man, whatever. he they all came out. Electro, they all came because of Peter's indecision, and like he couldn't actually think these through. He just did it impulse. So that's the first thing that made me mad, but it's okay. Just all the superheroes that we've seen, or supervillains, I should say, that we've seen, it's all nostalgia. It was happy to see them, just happy to see them grow again. But he messed up again when Strange is like, all right, you messed up. Go find these supervillains and detain them so we could send them back. And once he does find all the supervillains and contain them, he realizes each and every one's stories because they had time to talk about it. And Peter got all mushy. He got vulnerable. He got sad that realized that some of these villains died in their original timeline. So when Strange is like, all right, time to send these back, Peter is like, no, wait, no, I don't want to do this. They die. And Strange is like, so what? Let them die. Their death is so insignificant. Their death is so insignificant to the greater picture, aka the multiverse. There's an infinite amount of universes and dimensions, and you're caring about these few people. Just let them die. That's their fate. But of course, Peter's like, no, I gotta save them. And he tries to save them. And Strange and Peter, they go into this fight, and for some reason, Peter comes victorious. I don't know how, but he did. And he tries to save these villains or try to help them reverse their superpowers, make them back to normal. And as soon as Peter won that fight from Strange and tried to save these people, I knew it was just going to backfire. Peter took the most liking to Green Goblin, the foe. I forget what his name, Norman. He took a liking to Norman, and I knew that was just going to switch because Norman was in his regular mode. He wasn't in Green Goblin mode, but I knew when he was going to Green Goblin mode, it was going to be Bad News Bears. So in the process of trying to change everyone, try to revert them back to their normal selves, Doc Ock, Green Goblin, Electro, Sandman, they're actually getting successful. Doc Ock was the first person to actually revert. He was the only person to actually revert. And then once he's trying to figure out to revert everyone else, He was gonna do Electro next. Electro was about to be reverted, but then Spider-Man's senses just his Spidey senses came about, and it was gonna be bad. The way that they showed Spidey's senses in this scene, where he's trying to look for the danger, it was actually really cool. And then once we find out that danger was Green Goblin, Norman Osborn, I just knew, I was like, okay, that's already to be expected. So he tries to detain Green Goblin. It doesn't work. Now they're in a panic. And Green Goblin's convincing all the supervillains to actually just like, hey, second guess this, this could be, it could be better. It could be better for us. We can actually roll this place. And Electro was already teeter-tottering. He didn't want to go back, but he was going to be down with it. He was like, whatever. So just that whole spiel from Green Goblin just tipped Electro over the edge, and just made everything bad. Electro and Sandman, they dip, now, and Doc Ock trying to save. What did Doc Ock do? I forget, man. It's not fresh in my mind. I forgot what Doc Ock did, but yeah, now there's a whole problem. Green Goblin's loose, and the way they show Green Goblin's just mental capacity and his strength was amazing. That fight between Spider-Man and Green Goblin was great. Like, Willem Dafoe's performance in the first Spider-Man with Tobey was absolutely amazing. I'm not even gonna lie. But I believe his performance in No Way Home was better than in the first Spider-Man. This could be a hot take. This could not be. But in my opinion, it was the better version, or his better take on it. Because if you already seen the original movie, it's already him being fleshed out, We got to ease into the character. If you already know Green Goblin's character and you go into this movie and it's more fleshed out and it's more insane, dude, it was perfect. There's like the moment where like it was just like Spider-Man just going in, just punching the mess out of him, and just going to town, and Green Goblin was just laughing maniacally. I was like, oh my god, this guy's in danger. Like, Peter's in danger, and Peter realized, the look on his face is like, oh, I'm in danger. And it was crazy. I'm not gonna lie, that scene was so memorable. I'm probably not gonna forget that. I wish I could watch it again, but I'll probably not. So I'm just going off the first time review. I'm watching a couple other people's reviews and all that, but yeah, this is still kind of fresh in my mind. I'm kind of forgetting some details, but what can you do with the first watch review? So after that whole fight, it's Green Goblin's coming out on top. Peter's just he's done. He's beat. And Aunt May's in the way, right? And dude, Green Goblin is like, you're gonna watch May just get taken out, and just calls his glider and just takes out May. And like that whole death scene where like Goblin doesn't kill Peter, I don't know why, but Goblin just dips, and it's just Peter and May. And the fact that you gotta watch Peter watch May die, it was sad, but I just couldn't just go over the fact that this whole fiasco could have been avoided if Peter just listened to fucking Strange. Like, it's not hard to listen to Strange. Like, I know he's a 16-year-old kid, right? We know he's 16 or 17 in this movie, but you should know that this is bigger than you. All the previous movies, or the previous examples, like in Endgame, Infinity War, and also and also the prequels as well. Like, he's always been out of his element, and some which way or another, he's been able to come out of the top, whether his means or someone else's means. But this is a multi-dimensional threat that he's trying to deal with himself, and it's like, you can't listen to the person that knows an inkling more. It's like, dude, this all could have been avoided. May could have lived, he could have caused so much trouble could have been spared if Peter just listened to Strange. That's the reason why this movie pissed me off the most. Everything else was great, just that major thing. He had not only once, but 2 times to actually listen to Strange. The first time, okay, whatever, he's a kid, he doesn't know what he's doing, he's naive. The second time, he's like, bro, I was just sitting in the movie theater like, dude, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing, man? It's not hard to just listen to this man. Like, he deals with this on a daily basis. He studied this for years and he still don't listen to him. And I just been watching reviews like, yeah, that's the Spider-Man spirit, always got to save whoever, which way or not. It's like, no. It's like, I get Peter is a good guy. He wants to save everyone. But it's like, in this case, you don't know what you're dealing with. And also, right? In the sequel for Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness, the events in this movie caused the sequel of Doctor Strange. Now he has to deal with the mess of this movie. It's like, you could have saved so many people the trouble by just listening. It's like, how hard-headed do you have to be to just not listen to the person that knows the most about this, and nobody knows much about this? It's like, dude, yeah, that's what made me the most mad. So May dies, it's a whole sad scene, but just the fact that I know that it's Peter's fault and it's blatantly apparent that this is Peter's fault just took me out of it. I couldn't get sad for May's death because I was just mad at Peter. Like, dude, you could have avoided this. So now Peter's pissed off, rightfully pissed off. I don't know if he's pissed off at Green Goblin. He is pissed off at Green Goblin, but he should be pissed off at himself because he messed up. And he does acknowledge that he messed up. And it's like, after that just great scene, and also the influx of emotions, me being mad at him, you just cut to MJ and Ned. They're just like hoping to hear back from Peter. They know what's going on now. They're watching anyways. And just Ned, he managed to get a hold of a sling ring because of Doctor Strange's and Spider-Man's fight. He managed to get a sling ring because Peter gave it to Ned. So he manages to use the sling ring, just not being taught, and he managed to bring a portal for Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, and like, it's just a whole. I was at the movie theater, and like, when they first showed Andrew, everyone was hyped, and when they showed Tobey, everyone was hyped. Not even gonna lie, like, I was hyped for that, but I'm gonna take it back a bit. The most part I was hyped for was when Peter was speaking to his lawyer, and his lawyer was Matt Murdock. If you guys don't know, Daredevil is my favorite superhero, so just seeing him there, I was the most hyped for that, just unnecessarily hyped for that, and it was great. But just seeing him after watching the TV show and wrongfully canceled, that's a whole nother thing. But yeah, just seeing him just made me happy. But just bringing Andrew and Tobey in, and like how they were brought in, it wasn't like forced or anything. Like how things were introduced and brought in, it wasn't like forceful, everything felt like it was in the right place, and I was just happy to see that, just to see Andrew and Tobey just back on screen again, and then the banter between the two, trying to figure out like, hey, is this real? Are you the real Peter? No, I'm the real Peter. It's like that, that meme, that Peter standing meme. That was basically the entire movie. So once they figure out what's going on, they get more closure with what's going on. Ned, MJ, Tobey and Andrew. I'm gonna refer to the two Peters as Tobey and Andrew because that makes the most sense. They go and find Tom. I'm referring to Peter as Tom now, or the MCU Peter as Tom, so I can make it easier to explain. So, that whole scene where Tom, Ned, and MJ, they meet up, they reunite. Tom is obviously sad. I'm still mad because it's still Tom's fault. He should have listened, But just like when MJ said, hey, we got a few people for you, and like, you just look up and you see Andrew and Tobey just posted up. That was the best scene, I'm not gonna lie. It was like so subtle, but like just how they're posted up in the moonlight, it was great. Just my nostalgia and nerd senses were just going off when I saw that. I was like, ah. But anyways, that scene was great. And and Tom, you saw he was enough of it. He actually learned his mistakes after May died. He was like, you know what, I'm gonna just end this all because I'm not good at explaining things, especially since it's my first time watching it. When when Tom and Strange were fighting, they had this little doohickey thingamabobber that could have sent everyone that's not from the 616 dimension back to their own dimensions. And Peter had that in his hand, and he was like, speaking to Andrew and Tobey, is like, I know you guys are here to help, but I'm just end this all. You guys got to go back and deal with your own problems. And before Tom did that, Toby and Andrew were going their own like losses because Tom just lost May, and it's sad. And then just hearing Andrew saying that he lost Gwen, and saying that Toby lost Ben. It was pretty sad how they got over their own losses, and that with great power comes great responsibility line came up because Tom mentioned it, and then Toby finished his sentence for him, and they're like, wait, and Tom was like, wait, you know that? And then Toby was like, yeah, I know that, and like it was just so great, and then made Tom realize that he got to finish what he started. He didn't have to finish what he started, but they're already there, and they already convinced him, and it's like, you might as well just have one big showdown. Sense is already out the window. Sense was out the window when Tom decided to go against Doctor Strange. But anyways, just that whole sequence when there's like two sequences where Toby, Tom, and Andrew just go at it. Not go at it, but it's like small little banter, and like you get more pieces of how they've been, how Andrew and Toby been, what they're doing in their world, how it's going in their lives. And it's actually kind of nice to hear from that. It's like kind of continuing on, or kind of like slowly recapping of what they've gone through. And it's just really nice to hear that for someone that's been growing up on these movies. And when they actually are posted up and actually about to finish everything, and like the Statue of Liberty, it's nice to hear like more banter of like the previous enemies they've encountered. And like Andrew was like, man, I'm really lame because Tom and Toby were talking about how they were just fighting aliens, and Andrew was like, man, I'm really lame. Y'all fighting aliens and like y'all been to space and that, man, I'm lame. And your Toby is like, hey, we gotta reverse this. You are not lame, all right? You are amazing. And he just keeps on reiterating to Andrew, you are amazing. You are amazing. I just kept on thinking of it. Andrew, Spider-Man, the amazing Spider-Man, you are amazing. Like, I was just thinking that, and like, I was just so excited to hear that. And Andrew was just taking it like, yeah, thank you. I really needed that. And it was just a great scene. And then the big old shebang happens. All the enemies come, and now the three Spider-Men got to fight this out. And in the beginning, they're not as coherent as you would like to, or not cohesive as you would like them to be, because two of the three never worked as a team. So Tom is like, hey, I worked in a team. I worked for the Avengers. And Toby and Andrew are like, you really worked for the Avengers? And Tom was like, yeah. And then Andrew and Toby are like, no, Toby was like, what is that? And it's like, they never had to deal with the Avengers or like any threat because it was just them as superheroes, so they don't have no clue what the Avengers are. And that's so funny. That was a really funny part in the movie. So nonetheless, Tom was like, yeah, I worked in the team before, just follow my lead. I'm Peter 1, Toby, you're Peter 2, Andrew, you're Peter 3, and we're gonna get at this. And after that little pep talk in the middle of the fight, they just go at it. And like that scene after where they're just working so cohesively it's so orgasmic. Ugh. Like, it's great. It's great. It's absolutely great. And like they're just kicking ass. They're curing all the supervillains. They first cure Sandman, then they cure Killer Croc. Not Killer Croc, they cure Lizard. Killer Croc is DC. Lizard is his name. There they go. So they cure Lizard, they cure Electro, and that scene where like you see Doc Ock, like the Spider-Man were able to cure Sandman and Lizard by themselves, no problem, but they couldn't. They were getting caught up with Electro. Like Electro was like actually giving him a tough time, and then Doc Ock came. Doc Ock's like to Electro, no, let me handle these. And Electro's like, no, I got it. And like you're just in the movie, you're like, wait, what? I thought we cured Doc Ock. Like, what's going on? Is he bad again? And then like he just takes out, like he grabs. Basically Electro has Toby and Andrew by the balls, right? And Doc Ock just grabs Toby and Andrew and just takes out Electro. and we're like, oh, he's still safe. He was trying to just play a ploy because he's originally a supervillain, and like he escaped with everyone else. So you're thinking that he's gonna be a bad guy still, but nope, he saves the day. Saves their asses. Really, really helps out, and that was good to see as well. Just that good redemption arc from him. It was great. And then they're able to cure Electro after that, and then the Green Goblin comes through, and he was pretty tough, right? It was like at one point where like he comes through, just plants a whole bunch of bombs, and then originally Ned and MJ were in a safe spot, but like Ned was using the sling rings to make portals, but he couldn't close one of the portals, so Lizard ended up coming in and then chased them out to like the Statue of Liberty, compared to where they were at a safe spot. So Green Goblin just blows up a whole bunch of stuff. MJ falls. Ned is hanging by a thread, and Tom sees MJ fall, and he's like, "Oh shit, I gotta save her." So he jumps after her, but right after grabbing her, like he just gets taken by Green Goblin, and MJ's like, "Oh shit, I'm in trouble." And then Andrew sees this and just dives in and just saves MJ, and like it was the greatest redemption arc ever. Like it was so good to see that. I had this part spoiled for me because I was looking at a YouTube caption, and like there's a whole bunch of YouTube links just linking a whole bunch of just No Way Home, and it pissed me off because I wanted to see it for myself. I don't want this spoiled for me. But anyways, just seeing that, and after Andrew saved MJ, and he's like to MJ, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "Yeah." And then you see just Andrew, he's tearing up, like because he couldn't save Gwen, but he saved MJ, and he's about to cry. And MJ's like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, yeah, I'm okay. But yeah, it was just great to see that. And then just they get a little bit so after that scene, Tom and Green Goblin get a little time to themselves, because Tom is still pissed off that Aunt May died by Green Goblin's hands. So Goblin's teasing Tom. He's like, "Oh my gosh, she didn't have the cojones to actually end me, or like just send me back." And he was like, "No, I didn't want to use this to send you back. I didn't want to send you back. I wanted to kill you myself." So that makes Green Goblin happy because he's actually bringing out the anger in him. And then you just see Tom just actually just go to town on Green Goblin. Like he beats the fucking crap out of him. And you're just looking at this and you're like, wait, is he actually going to kill? Like, you're like, what? And like he's just beating the crap out of him, and Tom grabs Green Goblin's glider and he's about to stab him with it. And meanwhile, Andrew and Toby are looking at this. They're like, "Oh no, what do we do? What do we do?" And no, they don't look at them like, "What do we do?" They look at each other and they just nod at each other. So when Tom is about to stab Green Goblin, Toby comes out of nowhere and just catches the glider, and he's like looking at Tom like, "Hey bro, don't do this. This isn't you," right? And like they're just having that little like struggle together, like, and like Toby is holding the glider. Tom is trying to like kill the Green Goblin, and like they're just looking at each other, and like you see Tom calming down. He's like, "You're right, this isn't me. I'm just acting out the impulse right now." And just during that stare down with each other, Green Goblin just comes out of nowhere and just stabs Toby, and you're like, Toby, not Toby. Is he gonna die? Don't tell me Toby dies. Toby doesn't die. So Toby doesn't die, but he gets stabbed, and like he's just down for the count because he got stabbed like near the spleen, and that'll take anybody out really, So at that point I was like, where the hell is Andrew? Like, he's just watching all this happen. But other than that, no, Andrew. What happened with Andrew is that once Toby gets stabbed, Tom is looking at Green Goblin now, and he looks like he's about to just continue what he was doing, trying to kill him. But like he just looks at him in anger. Andrew throws the cure at Tom, and Tom grabs it and just injects the Green Goblin with the cure. So he doesn't kill him, he cures him. So pretty much everyone's back to normal now. Sandman, Electro, Doc Ock, he was already good, and Green Goblin. I feel like, and Lizard as well. Yeah, they're all good. They're all back together. Or not back together, all normal now. So that was good with that. And I lost my train of thought. Golly, man. And just watching all that go down, I'm still kind of mad that Tom attempted to cure everyone, but it's like still, it's good to see it. I'm still mad that he tried to cure everyone because he could have just erased everything and just set everything back. It could have. I would have been fine with it with just a quick little cameo, but just seeing all those redemption arcs and all that, it's it's kind of bittersweet. I'm still mad. Tom could have ended this, but he didn't, and we see all these redemption arcs, so it plays hand in hand. Um, it was a it was a pretty good movie. I'm forgetting the end already. So after everyone is cured, Tom sees Strange because when Ned and MJ were running around the Statue of Liberty, they were trying to find ways to get out. And when Ned was using the sling reed, he brought Doctor Strange back into the fight. But what happened is that the spell that they originally put to make everyone forget that Peter was Spider-Man was coming back to bite them in the ass now. So Doctor Strange was trying to fix all that, and while the Spider-Men were trying to take down all the villains. So now, looking around them, Tom, Andrew, and Toby, they're looking around them now, and it's like the multiverse. I bumped into something, my fault. Like the multiverse is coming in now, and like the universe is breaking, and you see Doctor Strange coming up now, and Doctor Strange is trying his best to fix everything, and Tom is like, "Hey, there's something we gotta do," and like Strange is like, "There's nothing we can do at this point. Like they're coming, right? They're coming," and Tom is like, "You know what? Just have everyone forget about me. Just forget that Peter Parker ever existed." And Strange is like, "Are you sure?" And Tom is like, "Yes." And because they're pretty much all out options, that was the only way to just make everyone forget that Peter existed. So Strange did, and that caused all the villains to go back to their respective dimensions, all the Spider-Men to go back in their respective dimensions, and just everyone forgot about Peter existed. MJ, Ned, Strange, everyone just forgot about Peter existed. And like there was a whole scene where Strange is like, "Hey, before I do this, say your goodbyes and all that." And he says his goodbyes to the Spider-Man. He says his goodbyes to Ned and MJ, and they're all crying. It's a sad scene, but it's something that has to be done. And just once that happens, you just see the aftermath of everyone forgetting that Peter ever existed. He doesn't have any family. All his family is dead. May died. And Happy doesn't recognize him. Happy plays a main part in the Spider-Man movies, and in this movie especially, he forgets about him. And, MJ, Ned, they forget about Doctor Strange. And like he goes to visit every single one of these people, and he doesn't recognize, and no one recognizes him. And it's just really sad to see, like the whole movie was Tom's fault, but like just seeing the aftermath of just everyone forgetting about him, and like him having nobody, and him getting his own shitty little apartment, it encapsulates the whole like Peter Parker like lore, like the whole Peter Parker story, like in all the sorts of media. Peter doesn't really know anybody. He's barely getting by living in a shitty apartment, but just seeing Tom going through that, and just like legit nobody knows about him and gives a damn about him, and like he lives in a shitty old apartment, and he's trying to just get like, I would say it's warranted. It kind of is warranted. He did mess up. He had multiple chances to listen to Strange, but like at the end of it, it's just really sad to see it. And and like they try to end the movie in a positive note, just Tom just swinging around, but like at the end of it, it's just really sad. It's a fate I wouldn't wish my worst enemy on. I would hate to be in that position, but hey, it was the only way. But overall, the movie was really good. Just that one, just glaring moment where, Peter had the chance to listen to Strange, he didn't do it, and he paid the ultimate price at the end. But yeah, it was a great movie. Besides that, just the ending was really sad. That kind of made me tear up. There's a few moments that made me tear up, but mainly that was overshadowed by the fact that Peter could have listened to Strange. But it was a great start, middle, and end. Not even gonna lie, it was a really good movie. I want to watch it again. Hopefully when it comes out, just like on Blu-ray or these streaming services, I'll watch it again. I'm not watching it again in theaters, but yeah. What I'd give it, probably give it like a B plus maybe. I'm not too sure. I don't really want to rate it. But yeah, I just want to talk about that right now. I have no one else to talk about it with right now. I'll probably do it tomorrow when I have more people to talk about it. But I just have to get this off my chest right now. How am I going to put this in video format? I don't even know if I'm going to make this into a video. But I just have to get this off my chest. But anyways, I'll leave y'all with that. Appreciate you guys watching. If I ever do upload this, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. All right, now hold on. Wait just a minute now. This is editing Felly here. Future edit Felly. I just want to say, first off, thank you for watching to the end, if anyone even made it, because no one be watching my videos. But I just wanted to try something different. I know halfway off the video, I stopped caring about the editing and stopped putting in pictures and subtitles and that, because it's late. I've been on this for a couple of days now. I just want to get this over with. I'm probably going to just throw a whole bunch of pictures as a thumbnail and just make that the thumbnail. Don't really care. I just wanted to get this out. This isn't the video I was teasing like a couple months ago on my last post. I'm still working on that. I don't know when that's gonna be finished. Hopefully I can start editing by next week and get that out sometime in January, but I don't know. I just probably just get off my ass and just do it. But yeah, just want to say that I'm still working on stuff. I know quality went down, but I really appreciate guys watching. If you even make it this far, I enjoyed making it, to be honest, but just so time consuming, and I really got things to do. By the way, so I won't keep you that long. This is for real by now. Catch you later. Peace out.